Hello guys, this Get Lectures of Engineering Mathematics on topic Rules of Probability is brought to you by lecturesforfree.com. Hey guys, this is the part second of probability topic. So if you haven't seen part 1, then I will recommend you to watch that lecture before watching this lecture. Okay? Uh, so let's start this lecture. In this lecture, we will see the 10 rules of probability that will help us to to understand the probability, and that will help us to solve the questions. Okay, so rule number 1 sorry, rule number 1 is, for any event, probability will be always, it will be greater than or equal to 0, and it should be less than or equal to 1. Okay, probability will be always in between 0 and 1. Okay, so let's suppose in any option there probability is asked, and let's suppose in any option there is a option which is which is not in this range, which is not in 0 to 1, means definitely that will be wrong answer. Okay, let's see the second probability, second rule. Second rule of probability is, probability of sample space means sample space will be 1. What is sample space? As we have seen in our earlier lecture, all possible outcomes of any event is known as sample space. Okay, let's see the third rule. We call phi it as a null set. So probability of null set is your 0. Okay, probability of 1, it represent definite event. Okay, definite event means that event will definitely occur. Definite event. Okay, or probability 0 means you can say it is the impossible event. Okay, it will definitely not occur. Okay, it is representing that. Rule number 4 is your sorry rule number 4 is, if any event E has probability PE, then probability of complementary of that event means probability of E bar, or I can say probability of EC. Okay, means it is the complementary event of E. So probability of this will be 1 minus probability of E. Okay, probability of complementary of any event will be 1 minus probability of that event. Okay, now let's see the next rule. Rule number 5. Let A and B are two event. A and B are two event. Then probability of union of that event means combined probability of that event will be, means probability of A union B. Union means it contains the outcome of A as well as outcome of B. Then it will be probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. Okay, let's see it by Venn diagram. What is probability of, what is A, what is B? Okay, like it, let's suppose this circle is representing A, this circle representing B. Then our this shaded region, this is your A interaction B, and this complete region, this complete region is your A union B. Okay, so probability of A union B will be probability of A plus probability of B minus this A intersection B. As we can see by this Venn diagram also, if you want to combine this this, then we have to add this, and this part is added twice, so we can subtract it like P A minus B. Okay, so this is the formula. Sorry. But for mutually exclusive event, for mutually exclusive events, probability of uh, A union B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B only. Okay, as we have seen in our earlier lecture, for mutually exclusive events means there is no any common outcome. There is no any common outcome of A and B, means A intersection B will be 0. Okay, so A intersection B will be 0, so probability of A intersection B will be 0, so this term will be 0, so we will get probability of A plus probability of B. Okay, in Venn diagram we can see it like this. For mutually exclusive event, if this is sample space, then if this is A and this will be B, means there will be no common outcome in A and B. These represent the mutually exclusive events. Okay, so our this formula will be turned like this. Okay, this is a special case, a mutually exclusive event. You can remember only this also. Okay, so this is for two events. Let's suppose we have three events. Then our formula will be A interaction B, sorry, not interaction, it will be A union B union C, and it will be equal to probability of A plus probability of B plus probability of C minus probability of A interaction B minus probability of B interaction C minus probability of C interaction A plus probability of A interaction B interaction C. Okay, so this will be formula if there are three probabilities, if there are three events. Okay, so this formula is important in recent GATE exam, GATE 2017. One question is asked from this formula. Okay, in electronics and telecommunication branch, one question of probability is asked, which we can solve using this formula. Okay, if I will get that question exactly, then I will solve it also. Okay, right now I don't have that question, but if I will get it, then I will solve it. Okay, so this formula you can remember for three, and if our three variables A, B and C are mutually exclusive, then this all interaction term will be 0. So we can write P probability of A union B union C is equal to PA plus PB plus PC. Okay, now let's see the next rule. Our next rule is rule number 6. If A is a subset of B, okay, A is a subset of B, then probability of A will be less than probability of B. If A is subset of B, then probability of A will be less than or equal to probability of B. Okay, it is self-explanatory that B has more outcome, then probability of B will be more. Okay, now let's see the next rule. Probability of A interaction B. This interaction is it is also known as joint probability. It is also known as joint probability. Okay, so probability of A interaction B will be probability of A into probability of B on given A. Means if A has already happened and if B is depending on A, then this probability of A interaction B will be probability of A multiplied by probability of B, as A has already happened, so it is depend, means this is known as conditional probability. Conditional probability. Okay, so we have seen in my earlier lecture what is conditional probability. If some events is depending on some other events, so we get it like this conditional probability. If okay, so but if our event B has already happened and A is depending on that, then we can write this is like this also, probability of B into probability of A when B has already happened or when B is given. Okay, we can write it like this. Okay, but let's suppose our event A and event B are not depending on each other, means if A and B are independent event, independent events, means like this represent conditional probability, means probability of B when A is given, or we can say probability of B when A is already happened. So probability of B is not depending on A, it is independent, so we can write it directly like a probability of B. Okay, and similarly we can write it like PAB. Okay, it is representing probability of A when B has already happened. So as we know, we are considering when A and B are independent, so probability of A will not depend on B, so it will be probability of A only. Okay, so we can replace it here like this as well. We can replace it here. So if A and B will be independent, if A and B will be independent, then in that case we can write A interaction B will be probability of A multiplied by probability of B. Okay, or here, or you can say probability of B multiplied by probability of A. So this is the case when A and B are independent events. Okay, when A and B are independent events. Rule number 8 is your when A and B are independent, then A and B complement and A complement and B and A complement and B complement, this will also be the independent. Okay, as we can see by Venn diagram, like independent events are having say different sample spaces like S1, S2. Okay, we can represent A here, we can represent B here. So if A and B are independent, then our A complement, this represent A complement, this represent B complement. So A and B complement will also be the independent. Okay, and next our last rule number 9. If A, B and C are the 3 events and these 3 events are independent, then they will be independent in pair also, means A and B will also be independent, B and C will also be independent, and C and A will also be independent. Okay guys, so for this lecture just remember all these rules. In next lecture we will solve the questions related to these rules. Okay, if you liked my this lecture, then please like my lecture and subscribe my channel, and if you have any doubt you can comment me here, or you can go to my website lecturesforfree.com also. There you can ask any question me there in my question and answer forum, sorry. Okay, so thank you guys.